What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson the Gypsy King Fury and Andy Ruiz. And I was just sitting here thinking, I just recently did a video about Andy, and it was really about his manager, or should I say his trainer, rather. And he was saying that, he has to be motivated if he wants to achieve greatness once again, which it's all up to him. It doesn't really matter who it is. Sure, we got that. We understand that. And I'm sitting here thinking, who does Andy Ruiz remind me of? Right? Like, first of all, Andy Ruiz achieved greatness. He achieved something that people didn't even think or fathom that he would do. And he did it. He beat Anthony Joshua and became the unified heavyweight champion of the world. And the rest is history. But what kind of history are we talking about? Who has a parallel experience like that? Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was in the same situation. The only difference was Tyson Fury went to Germany, not the other way around. But he was the underdog. He was the B-side. He was the guy that was less likely to succeed and to win that fight. But he did it anyway. And then what did he do? Fell from grace. Why? Because that was the highest pinnacle that he could ever possibly do. You couldn't get any more or better or higher than what Tyson Fury done. Not even with Wilder. Wilder only had one belt. That's why he's really not concerned about being an undisputed champion, because he's already had the belt, the other belts. Now he has the WBC. With Andy Ruiz, same thing. Andy Ruiz got all those belts at one time. Then after that, got that money, then start partying, and then everything fell apart. Blew up in weight, so did Andy. Andy was already fat. Tyson Fury wasn't necessarily fat. He was tall and oblong and awkward or bad built or whatever, so was Andy Ruiz. However, Tyson Fury gained a lot of weight from drinking and eating, so did Andy Ruiz. Both of these guys did the same thing, and when they achieved greatness, they actually went to the same type of lull in time. Andy Ruiz hasn't fought once this year, and I know the coronavirus is up and running and all that, but he had an opportunity to fight this year, which he refused to do. He refused to fight two other credible opponents. Now, he did not fail a drug test. No, he did not. Okay? But I'm talking about the similarities of both fighters. They both was in fights, and the only difference now, again, another difference, Andy lost. But Andy is doing the same type of things when a fighter gets to a certain point where he didn't ever think he was going to go. He got to that point of greatness where he achieved belts, and I think that's where his spike in his career is. And we don't really know if it's to be seen, but there's potential for him to come back. So if he's similar to Tyson Fury, he will be able to bounce back, but bounce back with the even or right type of opposition, But it's just strange how both of these guys are similar. I know Tyson Fury talked about, Anthony Joshua got beat by the fat man, but, Tyson Fury, like he admitted, he was also the fat man. And how did that happen? Because he achieved success in areas in his life that I don't know if Tyson Fury thought he would be there. I know he thought he could beat Vladimir Klitschko, just like Andy Ruiz did also. And he got it, and they did it. But what did they do? It was as a result of them going so far up, then they all fell down because it was a certain amount of success that I don't think those guys at that time could handle. So the same thing happened to both guys, both former undisputed champions. And both of them are former undisputed unified heavyweight champions. Just something to think about. So wouldn't it be crazy to market a fight? Imagine marketing a fight with Tyson Fury versus Andy Ruiz. Let's say Tyson Fury loses. That would probably be the fight that makes more sense. Why? Because they're two losers, right? Two former unified heavyweight champions that lost their belts. Right? Now Tyson Fury lost it, would lose the WBC, but Andy Ruiz, but he's also a former unified champion, just like Andy Ruiz is now. Farmer, unified champion. And you can bring them together, the two fat mans, one tall, one short, both undefeated heavyweight champions. Just gives you something to think about. You guys tell me what you think about the similarities between Tyson Fury and Andy Ruiz. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.